Hey guys, it's Josh Ellsworth with Stahls TV, and I want to thank you so much for tuning into our channel. The content you are about to watch was produced in January 2021 as part of our Heat Press for Profit virtual event. It got rave reviews, and I know you're going to love it. This is called our Show and Sell series, where we walk through some of the hottest trends in blank apparel and teach you how to print them.
Hi everyone, I am Rachel Corey. I am a strategic account manager here at Stahls, for those of you that do not know me. And I am excited because it is jacket season, and I could not think of a topic that I love more than outerwear. It is one of my favorite things to talk about. It is one of my favorite lines to decorate and to work with customers on. And so we're going to be talking about a lot of different outerwear today. With that, we're going to kind of cut in and out of the PowerPoint because I know you guys that have been here for the past day and a half might be a little exhausted of just watching PowerPoint. So we're going to make this as interactive as possible. I have Allison here to help me with application because I obviously do not have a heat press with me. So we're going to be toggling back and forth and hopefully giving you guys the best view of the products that we are applying today. So we are going to dive deep into outerwear, but that being said, outerwear is a huge topic. So we've kind of really condensed it into a few different trends and different industries that we see are the most popular for outerwear. Before we kind of get into the PowerPoint though, I do have Stacy and Vicky here in the comment section to answer any questions as we go along. And then we'll also call out and I'll be able to answer some hopefully throughout the presentation or even if we have some time at the end. But we'll try and cut out a little bit earlier so you guys can all have a break in between the presentations this afternoon. So as you guys are probably familiar with, when you go to this site's page, there is a files tab and we have all of the presentation, even the parts that we're not going to specifically show online on there. So if you want to download it and save it for later reference, we have some phenomenal ROI tools on there and just some really great knowledge that we'll talk through, but then you can have it as like a written format. On there, we also are going to cover, we have our downloadable links for our what to use when, our design placements, our patches and emblems. So any tool that we're going to talk about today, you're going to see it on the files tab. And Stacy's also going to be dropping links for all of the different products and equipment that we're using to successfully print these applications. So without further ado, let's get into outerwear. Cool. So here are the three industries that we really pigeonholed into outerwear. So here you'll see your corporate, retail, and workwear. For your corporate wear, you're really going to see a lot of like sleeker trends, maybe some more techie pieces. So anything that's going to have a lot of like maybe hidden zippers, hidden pockets, a lot of things to be aware of when you're printing on outerwear, right? Because not all outerwear is going to have pockets that are truly visible to your eye when you first look at them. So I always recommend, specifically with corporate wear, but also for all of these, to look inside the jacket, to look all over and make sure that when you're printing, you have a great surface to print on. So your corporate wear is, like I said, really going to be that sleeker, more modern design, something that's not super flashy, but very professional looking. And then we have our retail, which is really going to be bomber jackets, denim jackets, anything like these varsity looking jackets that you'll see here. These are going to have a little bit more versatility, but they're also going to have maybe some traditionally hard to decorate areas. Workwear is going to be a huge trend. It was in 2020 and we see it creeping into 2021. Lots of workwear being had, especially right now in the colder seasons. These heavier jackets are in a super high demand. Workwear has, in my opinion, always been traditionally pretty difficult to apply to because it is so thick. But with all of the Stahls technology that we've released over the past few years, we have amazing solutions for that. So we're going to walk through different attachments to put onto your press, different accessories to use that are really going to ensure that amazing application and the flawless look that you're looking for when it comes to heat application. So here are the 5 pieces that we're going to be decorating today. So the first piece you see is a quilted pullover, which is one of those hard to decorate pieces, okay? One of the things to think about when you're using a really, really soft garment like this quilted piece is picking out a material that is going to be compatible for the hand of the garment. So our favorite product to put on this right now is our soft foam, which I think a lot of you guys have maybe either used just a few times or just learning about it during these presentations. It has a beautiful, beautiful hand, and it complements a garment like a quilted garment very well because they're very compatible and they give that super soft finish when it's done applying. The next one you're going to see is a bomber jacket. This one is very unique, and again, we picked these all because they traditionally have maybe been hard to decorate. But this bomber jacket is a nylon jacket with a water resistant coating on it. So water resistant coatings, we are seeing these everywhere. And I always tell people when you're printing on jackets, always, always, always test before you run a complete run. So why would you test water resistant coatings? Because every single one is going to be different and all are going to react differently. So if your customer is open to just running a spec sample, I would always say that would be a good bet. Or maybe if you have a customer that likes, or a few customers that like a similar style, maybe get them into one that's going to be the same jacket so you know it's going to work and you can ensure your success with it. Nylon in and of itself has always been a little bit more difficult because it is pretty heat sensitive, but we have a beautiful product that we're going to show you on it today that I think is going to solve a lot of decoration issues for you. Denim jackets, I mean, these are year-round some of the most popular pieces in retail, fashion, boutiques, you name it. I know so many people that have, if not one, multiple denim jackets in their closet. So adding that personalization or a brand to it is just going to elevate it and uptick in your sales. So denim jackets are not to be put to the wayside. These are trendy and they are here. The next piece we have is we kind of put it in a athleisure, retail, and workwear piece. So it is a very, very versatile piece. So obviously we all know we are doing all the stuff virtually this year. So how many times are you doing a virtual meeting and then have to run up and go do an errand, or you have to run outside, or you're doing yard work? This piece is going to be great because it gives you that professional look while also being fun, fashionable. It gives you that athleisure vibe, but it's going to be super trendy. And this one has a really soft hand to it. And later when we're going through and applying them, we can tell you what exactly the substrates are too. But this has some polyester in it. So it's going to require we're going to recommend a lower temp transfer to apply to it to avoid any kind of scorch marks or creasing. And on it, you'll also see a lot of different zippers and hidden pockets in this piece. And then lastly, we have our workwear piece, which here we have a Carhartt jacket, which is that thicker workwear piece, very trendy for workwear and honestly for fashion. But like I said, it's thick, so you want to make sure you have the right heating elements when you're applying to this jacket specifically. Okay, and here are the decoration methods that we're going to be covering today. So when you're working with outerwear, like I said, you really want to pay attention to the specs on each piece. So the specs can be, when you're want to look at coatings, you want to look at what the full substrates are, if they have any kind of nylon or poly in it. Just be aware of what you're printing on. Your full color transfers, we're going to cover on a few different pieces. So you can get full color transfers from both Stahls Transfer Express and Stahls ID. So the difference in these Stahls Transfer Express is going to be your screen printed transfers. We're also going to cover a really unique transfer called AquaTrue, which is a water-based transfer. And it allows you to have full color images with a beautiful finish to it. And we'll kind of dive into why you would use one over the other when we're doing the application. And then for emblems and patches, we're going to be today showing our leather patch, which I know a lot of people have had a ton of questions about. It is a super trendy piece, both for headwear and outerwear. It is a beautiful, genuine leather patch. That being said, your genuine leather, you're not throwing into the wash all the time. So I always tell people, you're not throwing your leather suitcase or leather briefcase or genuine leather jacket into your standard washer and dryer. So you want to maintain the integrity of that logo. And so pairing it with one of these outerwear pieces is going to just make a beautiful partnership between the two substrates. Next, if you guys are new around here or you've been here forever, I'm sure you're familiar with our heat transfer vinyl known as our CAD cut line. So our heat transfer vinyl is going to be our single color vinyl, but as you see on the image here, you are able to layer some of these different materials too to give you a multicolored look. And then last, but certainly not least, one of the biggest trends from 2020 that again is swifting into 2021 is our reflectives. People are out at all hours of the day right now. And so having reflectivity on jackets is so essential. We have 3 different reflectives. We have a 3M reflective, which is your standard reflective that does have that safety certification built into it. We have a reflective 2, which is almost an identical product to 3M. It has that same look, a little less visibility because it does not have that certification. And then we also have our high vis color reflective. So as we're going through these, like I said, Stacy's going to drop some of the links in there so you don't have to go onto the website and kind of get lost in everything. So you can get directly to the different transfers that we're using. Okay, so the first product line that we're going to go through is the corporate wear. So when you're doing corporate wear, you really want to focus on subtle branding, and your customer's image and their brand guidelines. So a lot of brand guidelines are going to cover either specific colors or they cannot alter their logos at all. So we're going to give you some full color options for your corporate apparel. When we're going through your full color options though, keep in mind that these products have the ability to have full color, but you can also produce these same transfer types in a single color transfer. Okay, so you're not limited just because we're talking to you about it as a full color to not use it as a single color option. Unique placements. So the great thing about having multiple different zippers and pockets and different unique placements on these jackets is because for each zipper and pocket, for me, immediately in my brain, I'm thinking this is a unique placement opportunity. So if you have 5 pockets on the jacket, you have the ability to print 5 different unique placements that you can't necessarily get with other decoration methods. And again, with that unique placement comes the multiple location. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here so that we don't have to just stare at a PowerPoint in my little face. And we're going to jump into one of our first applications, which is going to be our soft foam. So as I talked about this earlier, Allison's gonna be printing it on a quilted pullover, and the soft foam is really gonna have a beautiful marriage for that soft hand on this product. So we're gonna be doing a left chest today. A lot of the left chests we have are slightly larger than we would recommend printing as a left chest, but we're doing it just so that you guys can have better visibility since we're virtual. But left chest, we like to keep between 2.5, 3 inches. Sometimes we'll go up to 3.5 inches. So Allison's printing, do you want to talk them through the platen that you're using and then the different, for soft foam, you're going to be doing a 300-degree application. It's going to be a medium pressure for 15 seconds, and soft foam is a cold peel. So keep that in mind when you're applying, not to just rip it right off when it comes off the press.
Yep. Thank you. So we have this, quilted garment that has these really big buttons down the front, very trendy, very thick and quilted, but we need to avoid this when we're doing heat application, right? So we're going to use, there's also a lower seam here, which again, very trendy to have different seams to create visual appeal to our customers when we're doing these really nice garments and outerwear, but we need to avoid these seams. So we've got some challenges here. So we're going to use the 4x4, and this is the soft foam that Rachel was talking about. And you can see it's on a clear carrier, so we can see through it. It's got a little bit, I don't know if you can see a little bit of raise there. And this just fits on my 4x4 platen. But the nice thing about the 4x4 is that I can button or unbutton, it doesn't matter, but I can dress this platen through the collar or through the neck, which doesn't always happen. And we can get the positioning, and it really does help not only, you know, to get, you can see the buttons are falling off of the platen, that seam, the collar, everything. It really just gives me a nice spot to do a heat application, but I think it helps me with left chest placement. Rachel will tell you I am left chest challenge. I always hold it up and say, is this the right way, Rachel? And she'll go a little bit left, a little bit down. So we're crossing our fingers since she's not here today to direct me that I'm going to get it right. I've been doing okay so far. So, but I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. When you're doing left chest placement, I know what to do. You always want to kind of get it in the center of where it comes down. And, you know, we want to kind of line it up with the arm as well. So I'm not going to heat apply this yet though. I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry, I dropped my crap paper. The first thing I'm going to do is the last heat application I did in the last webinar, I had a larger platen on here. So I want to check my pressure, and we can check our pressure and preheat our garment at the same time. So I'm going to push this in. When you switch platens, when you go from bigger to smaller or smaller to bigger, you need to adjust the pressure because the pressure goes off when you change platens, and the thickness of the garment. This is a pretty thick garment. So the pressure of this versus a t-shirt is going to be really different. Like Rachel said, we're doing the soft foam. We're going to do it at a medium pressure. So we want our pressure on our fusion to be at about a 4 or 5. So I'm just going to lock it down in place, and you can see that was super, super easy. So I'm going to give this knob a turn to the right. And I'm going to lock it down again. A little bit more. Okay, I'm at a 6. So I'll give it a half of a turn out and I should be good. Now that I just preheated. So you want to preheat every single time that you do a new application to remove any chemical sizing that could be in the garment from manufacturing, get any wrinkles out of it. You'll see the bomber jacket that we do is wrinkled just because, you know, it shipped in a box and it was all wrinkled up, and get a nice smooth surface and take any moisture out. So I'm going to pull this out now. I'm going to place the soft foam on here again. I did. I'm all preheated. Again, hopefully we've got a good left chest. And the soft foam is 15 seconds. And like Rachel said, it's going to be a cold peel. So we're going to heat press it. You don't want to use too much pressure with the soft foam because we want it to have some elevation. So we're going to let it count down to 15 seconds, and then I'm going to let it cool. And then we'll peel it. Shouldn't take too long to cool. There we go. We're going to pull it off here, and the Fusion has that nice metal rail on the bottom. Metal helps to wick away heat. So I like to take my cold peels, especially when they're left chests. Oops. And just turn it upside down on there. Let that cool metal wick that heat away and help it cool down quicker. And then we'll peel it.
Yeah, the nice thing too, when you're doing large runs, is you can print all of your pieces at a time. When you have a cold peel, lay them all out, and then when you're done, you'll just go back and peel them. If you're doing a few of them, like Allison said, finding like a glass table or a metal table, something that's a little bit cooler, you can rub on it and make it cool down a little bit quicker. But while that is cooling, I want to talk to you about how you're going to make money on this jacket. So this jacket is going to cost you $27.50 for the blank garment. Your transfer is going to cost you at this size 82 cents a piece for the minimum order. Your total being $28.32. And then everybody kind of calculates their overhead a little bit differently depending on your facility and the people that you have working for you, or if you're a one-man show. So calculate your overhead as you would for your business specifically. And this jacket with this exact application we would say is going to retail between $49 and $55. So that is giving you a 42 to 49% margin, which is going to be almost a $21 profit in a 15-second application. So you're making a lot of money really quickly. So for those of you that maybe haven't invested in equipment yet, maybe this will help you like realize like how quickly you can pay off your heat presses or a cutter, or if you're adding to your facility, how much money you can make quickly with outerwear, because the pieces do retail a lot higher than just your traditional t-shirt or cap. And I'm going to jump back to Allison. I think maybe it's cool enough now.
Yeah. It's cool. I peeled it already. Sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit. But you can see it's that nice application. I think my left chest is pretty left chesty. I think I did pretty well there, but it's that nice soft foam. It's got that soft feel, that nice soft hand. I don't know if you can get it in close, if you can see that little bit of raised. It's matte and dull, but it's super soft. So that's the, soft foam. And like Rachel was touching on profitability, and she said, think about how much it would cost to pay off a new piece of equipment. I take it one step further and say, think about who you can sell this to, what customer you can sell this to, and how many you think you can sell. If you know the profitability is good, $21 for outerwear, who will buy this and who can you sell it to and how many can you sell? That will help you hone in and even kind of budget what kind of equipment you think that you can add and give you a goal to try to help pay that off.
Absolutely. And to touch back on when Allison was applying, a few things that are so important that I think oftentimes are overlooked are threadability, which like Allison showed is threading that garment through your bottom platen. Okay, so if you're not familiar with what a platen's called, it's that bottom piece underneath your press. Your top part is where your heating element is coming from on this direct application. So threadability is going to be great. So you're not going to damage any other part of not damage. You're not going to heat any other part of the garment. So when you're threading, you want to thread off buttons, collars, zippers, anything that maybe might melt or might leave an impression when you're putting that pressure on the garment and applying to it. So threadability is key. And something that is phenomenal to all of our products is all of us, in order for us to launch anything to market for you guys, it has to pass a very, very diligent wash cycle. So we put every transfer through the mill and we test it, we wash it. If it comes off, we go back to the drawing board and we make sure that this is going to be a very durable transfer for you, and you're not going to wash it once and it's going to come peeling off your garment. So in order for us to launch a product to you to market, it has to pass 50 industrial washes, which is essentially 200 to 250 domestic washes, which is a lot of washes at home, okay? And especially for outerwear, because people aren't just throwing their jackets in the wash all the time. So your lifespan on these products is a very long time. So keep that in mind, but we cannot guarantee your application if you don't follow the application instructions. So you'll see on our next application, we're doing an AquaTrue, which is going to be slightly cooler. It's going to be a 275-degree application where we just did a 300-degree application. So make sure you're giving yourself some dwell time to let your press fully cool down or fully heat up before you jump into a different material or a different jacket that you're printing. So jumping into our AquaTrue, we're going to go into our retail looks. So we're going to be talking about the bomber jacket that is nylon, that has that really funny water resistant coating that we have a few products that are going to work on. So we're really going to be able to help you with any solution that you have. So AquaTrue is the water-based product from Stahls Transfer Express. So we'll kind of jump into some more detail once we do the application. But when you're talking retail, think about how creative you can get with your space. So this is not that subtle branding. You're really pigeonholed into a very specific logo and colors. Think special effects. You can do glitters, reflectives, foils, metallics, fun, unique colors, neons, pastels. Retail really enables you to really get creative with your designs. And so I really encourage you to be creative with your customers, because that is why people use heat printing, is unique placements and unique finishes. So don't pigeonhole yourself into one product line when we offer so many different special effects that could maybe fit what your customer's looking for. Again, with retail, unique placements and high-end finishes. if you go through the airport or through the mall or, any kind of boutique store, you're looking at some of these jackets and, like the last one, you make $21 on it. These jackets are retailing at a very high dollar amount, and you can put some very, very high-end finishes on it for very low cost for you guys and really help ticket that item at a higher cost. So we're going to talk about AquaTrue, which is one of our, I would say, most premium products, but it has a beautiful, beautiful hand to it. You're going to love it. It feels like one with the garment. And we're not doing a unique placement today solely for visual purposes, but there's so many different placements that you could do. So on the collars or on the sleeve, or if you do a left chest or full back of a company or a different design, and then maybe you offer personalization for that person's name on the sleeve of the shirt or on the cuff of your shirt, on the collar. Maybe you let your customer pick where they want to add their name to, or something that's important to them on the piece. So we're going to jump into this bomber, Allison, if you want to show them. Like she said, it's very wrinkly, so preheating is great, but it also gets the wrinkles out of your garments. And then I'm going to pass it to you, Allison.
Yeah, so you can see how wrinkly this bomber is. And the AquaTrue goes on at 275. The soft foam was 300. So I have a few degrees left to go for my machine to cool off. You'll find the machine cools off a little slower than it heats up, but I think that's everybody. So I'm going to actually do the preheating and the pressure test while it's at a little bit higher temperature, because as I heat press it, it's going to drive some of that heat out and help it cool down for me. So I switched to a full size 16 by 20 platen because we're going to do 2 applications on this jacket, a full back and a left chest. I'm going to use a heat printing pad for the left chest to show you that option. If you don't have access to platens or you don't have platens, there is another option. So we're going to do that on left chest. So I popped the 16 by 20 back on while Rachel was talking. So wasn't too bad at all. I dressed my platen because this has a zipper. So I want the zipper hanging down. I'm using the drawer. So I'm going to push it in. I'm going to lock it down in place. Again, checking my pressure. So I get it all the way back. Yeah, that's way too high because I have that big platen. Again, remember, I have to adjust that pressure. All right, so we're at a 3. We could go a little bit higher. Turn. There you go. And we see I'm down to 279, and I have a nice wrinkle-free space. So I'm going to put my full color. This is a 2-color AquaTrue transfer. You can see it comes on a frosted carrier. This one happens to have a dye blocking layer. That's the nice thing about AquaTrue. It can come with a blocker or without. So you don't have to worry about dye migration. You can see it's got that black adhesive side. So that's definitely dye blocking. And it's like Rachel said, this is big and bold. And this is what, on bombers, this is what you see. So we're going to place it. I'm going to go a little higher here, get it in the shoulders. I'm going to cover it with my craft paper cover sheet. I'm going to pop it in. And it's a hot peel.
Yep, that's exactly what I was just going to say. A hot peel, 12 to 15 seconds. The nice thing about AquaTrue, it almost peels itself, which you'll see when Allison takes this cover sheet off of it.
Yeah, if you don't use the cover sheet, it's a lot of times this carrier will literally stick to the upper platen, the static attraction, and it'll just go. And I'll do that on the left chest. So we've got that, and that is good. And that carrier sheet is trash. That's throwaway. Ooh, making all kinds of noise over here. Okay.
So a lot of people have questions too about Transfer Express products when it comes to, do you use a cover sheet or do you not? A lot of the products at Transfer Express, I think if not all of them, you can use the carrier that it comes on as a cover sheet. Sometimes we just use an extra one, honestly, out of habit or just to be extra cautious. But with Stahls ID products, so your CAD cut vinyls, your digital transfers. You want to make sure you're using a cover sheet. So it's just really a good practice to get into when you're printing. So that's why Allison's doing it. I think on this one, she's not going to show you exactly how the carrier kind of lifts itself up from AquaTrue.
Agreed. Exactly. So I have this Print Perfect pad or heat printing pad. It's very similar to the rubber silicone on the bottom platen. It gives you a nice firm surface to do an application with. Mouse pads work too if you're in a bind. The nice thing about these is they're trimmable, so you can cut them down. If you have to get into a small pocket or something, you can definitely cut these down and reuse them. And this transfer is going to fit on here very nicely. This is an oversized left chest for sure. So I'm just going to slide this in here. And now I have to keep in mind when I'm doing this, the goal of this is to elevate the print area so that I get rid of this zipper. So this zipper is plastic and I do not want to melt it because my customer will not be happy. So I want to make that zipper so it falls down on the side of the Print Perfect pad. And again, I'm challenged with left chest, but I think I'm going to get it this time. Looking at the, kind of eyeballing it. Yeah, I think we're going to be good. And it also will help you with placement too. So now I know, right? And so I'm going to place my AquaTrue transfer right on top of there and make sure it's good. But I'm not going to heat apply it yet because I have to check my pressure and preheat. And it's really important to check my pressure now because I've added a layer. I've put that Print Perfect pad there. And so my pressure is definitely going to be heavy. So I'm going to slide this in and before I even pull it down, I'm going to back off the pressure because I know I'm going to need to. So I'm going to back it off a little bit. Yeah, see that's a 5. So we're good. And now I've preheated. So I'm at a 5. I've preheated. I'm going to take my carrier off and I'm going to put my transfer on. And then this time I'm not going to use the cover sheet. Just so you can see. Okay, we're going to smash it in there, lock it down, 12 seconds, hot peel, and we'll have a full back on a left chest on a bomber.
Okay, so while Allison's working on that, I'm going to talk to you about how much money you're going to make on this garment. So your cost of your blank jacket is going to be $18.97. Your 2 transfers together, if you order the minimum sheet amount for AquaTrue, are going to be $9.19 for both of them. So both the left chest and the full back. Your total for this is going to be $28.16. Calculate in your overhead, which it's a very quick application. It's hot peel, so it should not take a lot of time to produce these garments. You're going to retail this jacket at anywhere from $40 to $45. So about a 30 to 37% margin. And that's going to be about a $12 profit for a 30-second application. So very quick. Again, like the quilted jacket obviously was a little bit more expensive. So you're going to retail it a little bit higher than this bomber, but you also had to wait on the cold peel previously. So you're kind of making up at loss ends for the cold peel and hot peel time too, if you're running really large orders. And so now Allison's going to jump the press for our permatwill, which is going to go back to 300 degrees. As she said, it kind of heats up quicker than it cools down. So permatwill is going to be our next one. It's going to be 300 degrees. It's going to be a medium pressure at 20 seconds. And it's actually going to be no peel because our twill does not have a carrier on it. It is just a straight twill that you'll put a cover sheet over, and then you won't have to peel anything. Okay, so I did the CAD Prints Permatool does 260 to 300. So, then we're fine Then we're fine.
Yeah, we're good. So that was good. I did change it because the next one that we're going to do is 290. So I'm getting it up so I can do it in between there. And sorry, I'm having a hard time getting the 16 by 20 off now. There we go. Okay, so this denim jacket we're going to do on the back in between those seams. And so I need to definitely get those seams away. So let me pop this. I'm using an 11 by 15 this time. And I took the 16 by 20 off. I'm popping the 11 by 15 on, locking it in place. So while Allison's getting this ready, your perma twill is a sublimated twill
I like to refer to it as a faux patch because it does have that nice dimension to it. And a lot of people, if you want to do smaller quantities or if you want to give somewhat of an embroidered look, you can do another product that is the same thing, but it's called texture twill. And we add a texture to the design. So it gives you that elevated look. To me, it enables you to really upcharge the garment too, because it makes it look like a faux patch. So permatwill has been a phenomenal option as patches are trending more and more. If maybe you don't have the time to wait for it, or if you want to just get it directly from our Michigan production facility, these are coming from our CAD prints line. But as we mentioned, they're just your standard twill, and it's going to be a great complement for that denim jacket because it's going to be thicker like the jacket. So it's going to be very compatible finish for the substrate.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so I've got the 11 by 15 on here. You can see it goes between the seams. There's a top seam on this denim and then 2 side seams. Here's our full color CAD prints permatwill. It's a, you know, a bigger patch, but not huge. It's got some great, really good design for denim. And we're gonna put that in here. And then CAD prints permatwill, you need to use a cover sheet, and you need to use like a toss away cover sheet. When we send you CAD prints permatwill, we'll send you cover sheets that can just be tossed away, because this is, like Rachel said, these are sublimated. So sometimes when you heat print them, the sublimation will go onto the cover sheet. And so we give you these throwaway ones so you can use a new one every single time, because you don't want to transfer that to the top of your platen or to your next design or transfer. So I don't have one of those big enough, but I'm going to use just a craft paper, because craft paper is one of those ones that you can definitely toss. It's more economical. And this application is 12 seconds. So I'm gonna slide this in, and I'm gonna up my time. And I bet $1 million that I didn't test my pressure, but we're gonna see what happens. Pretty sure.
This is a true behind the scenes look at application.
Ready? I'm gonna tighten it up a little bit. Yeah, we're good. A little heavy, but it'll be okay.
Okay, so while that's
12 seconds, and then like Rachel said, there's nothing here.
Yeah, so while that's printing, this jacket is actually gonna cost you only $16 for a denim jacket. So a really great deal on this jacket. Your logo, due to the size, it is a little bit, our CAD prints permatwill is a $25 minimum. So if you order the minimum, this specific logo is gonna be roughly anywhere from $2.50 to $3. So you're looking at a total of about $18 to $19. So you're gonna retail this piece at $39 to $55. I would always say go higher, and then if you need to, jump down. So your margin is gonna be 58 to roughly 70%, depending on what you price it at, which is gonna give you a $23 profit for a 20-second application. You don't even have to peel it.
Yeah, so here you go. Here's the finished product. Nice, colorful, you know, higher ends. Again, got some texture to it, some dimension, patch, full color, got some gradients and shadings in there on the back. Who doesn't want a Texas jacket?
Yeah, a nice thing to note is look at how close Allison got to the seam of that jacket too.
Yeah. Yep. Cool.
Okay, so the last category we're gonna jump into is our workwear. So with workwear, you really want something that's gonna be substantial. It's gonna be more of a traditional look, like your Carhartts or a thicker winter jacket. But it's because they're gonna be more substantial, you're gonna have that quilting on the inside of the jacket, which is gonna be a lot thicker when you're applying. So we're gonna have one jacket that is a trouble jacket because it's thicker, and we're gonna show you how to successfully heat apply it. And then we're also gonna have a thinner jacket, and we're gonna kind of cruise through these because I don't want you guys to be crunched for time between this one and your 3 o'clock. So I'm gonna jump into it. Our first one we're gonna do is gonna be an ultra color soft transfer, which is a full color transfer from Stahls Transfer Express. which is phenomenal product right now. You can order this either in pieces or in sheets. So if you want to maximize all of your artwork for different customers, you can gang sheet it on a bunch of sheets. Or if you have one customer at the time that you only need 30 or 100 pieces for of Ultra Color Soft, you can also order it in pieces. And so it's going to fit the bill for a lot of different projects here.
Okay, I'm waiting for my press. I don't know why it's only at 276, but I've swapped out.
Do you want to do the other one while we're waiting?
What's the last? Oh, yeah, let's do that. Good idea.
Okay, so the next one we're going to do is going to be a leather patch on a, is that a cornerstone jacket, Allison?
Let's see, what is it?
Very similar to a Carhartt style, or is that Carhartt?
Yes, it is a cornerstone. It's like a duck cloth, a heavy duck cloth with a nice thick lining, fleece lining in it.
And we're going to be putting a leather patch on this. So everyone's fan favorite, it seems the past day and a half, is leather patches. So here you have it. Allison's going to be printing this on our 360 cap press. So here, I mean, you guys know all of our presses are so versatile. We call it a cap press, but you can print a lot of different products on here. Since we're doing this as a left chest, it has that small space. But the unique part about this press is that it's generating heat from the top and the bottom. So this is phenomenal for your leather patch to activate that adhesive all the way through the patch from the bottom instead of just relying on top heat. And also when you have a thicker jacket, you're going to really ensure that the application is going to hit right when you're using top and bottom heat.
Okay, so I've unzipped the jacket and I'm placing it on the cap press. Again, there's bottom heat. This jacket has a heavy seam here and a heavy seam here and a zipper. So I'm going to try to avoid that, which works really good on the cap press. If you want to, with leather patches, you can use a little bit of tape to tape it in place, and it'll help you with alignment if you want. But the cap press is hot on the bottom, like Rachel said. So we're using 320 bottom heat, 280 top, and we're going to do 20 to 30 seconds. But what I encourage you to do is when you're doing dimensional emblems, the adhesive flows toward the heat. So put it on there for the first one and let it sit for a second or two. I'm actually like kind of rubbing it. And I can feel that heat coming through, especially with these quilted linings. We know that heat's penetrating and coming through, and that's really good. So you can see this is a mountain leather. It's got a little bit of a raise to it, not much, but it's got some nice texture. And I'm gonna, again, I'm left chest challenged, but I did one of these earlier. I think I did okay. So I'm gonna place it on here. I'm going to cover this with a craft paper. You don't need to use the foam pads with this. You do need to use them with caps, but you don't need to use them with leather. So I'm gonna use just a piece of craft paper that I trimmed down to be the same size as the cap press, just because it's, you know, I don't wanna get anything on the upper platen. And I'm gonna lock it in place. And I have it set at 30 seconds because I'm erring on the side of caution here. So it'll be a little bit, but there's no peeling involved. So there's no cool peel, no hot peel. It's literally gonna pop, take the craft paper off, and you're gonna have a really nice left chest application.
Okay, so I'm either gonna blow your mind right now with how much money you're gonna make on this, or maybe you already know that this is gonna be a high profit item, but your jacket is gonna be, as a blank good, $39.99. So we'll round that up to 40 bucks. Your transfer at 50 pieces for a leather patch at this size is gonna be $3.87. So your total, obviously excluding your overhead, as I've said, is going to be $43.86. And this is going to retail at $79 to $85. And, you know, I think that maybe you could even upcharge a little bit more due to the quality of the jacket and the high end finish of the leather patch. But if you stick in that $79 to $85, you're sitting at a 45 to 48% margin, which is essentially almost a $37 profit for this jacket. So I'm going to jump back to Allison so you guys can see that better.
Yeah, so here it is. Hopefully the left chest is pretty good. You can below the seam. Sorry, you're cutting out, Rachel. Are you good?
Yes.
Okay, so you can see it's below the seam. It's nicely centered. And like Rachel was saying, $40 profit margin. How many of these can you sell? And the cap press is, $14.95. So how many of those can you sell? And how many of those will you need to sell to pay off that cap press? Like, it's a potential that you could do it in one, maybe as low as, one job, maybe 3 jobs if you get some, decent, outerwear like this. So really, really, really awesome. Love it. And it's dual purpose. So it's really great.
Yeah. So to Allison's point, if you made that exact jacket and put it at the exact profit that or retail at the same dollar amount that we did, you would have to only sell 40 jackets to pay off your 360 cap press. So I don't know about you, but I hope I just blew some minds, because that's pretty cool to think that you could do 40 pieces, which could be one entire work site or half of a work site, and your press is paid for. And then the rest that you make on that press is just profit. So we're going to jump back to this. It's this OGO jacket, the one that I said is a little more techy. It's kind of workwear retail. It's got some really cool designs on it, but I think we're just going to stick to a left chest on this one.
Yeah, so we looked at a couple different things. It's got a nice zipper. It's got a hood, so some seams we need to avoid. It's got a pocket on the right chest. You could do something fun over here if you really wanted. And then the back has got another seam and then those like air vents. So, anything you do on the back, you'd have to do lower, which you could so get creative, but we're going to go traditional and we're going to do a left chest here. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this on. Again, I put the 4x4 back on here. I'm going to line it up, getting rid of those seams and zippers. I'm going to test my pressure again this time. I didn't do it last time. I gambled. And you'll find out as you do heat printing, there's products that you can gamble with and products that you can't. And CAD Prints Permatwill is one of those products that you can gamble with a little bit, because it's got such a spread of application and time. And I'm actually going to push this because this jacket wants to slide off. It's a little slippery. So I'm going to use this press in swing mode instead of drawer mode. You can see I'm a drawer girl. I like to pull it in and out, but in this case, I'm going to switch it back. So I don't want to move this until I get it lined up. So we're going to get it on here. We're dressing the flatten, getting that zipper out of the way. Okay, throw my big craft paper on, pull this over. I'm going to preheat and test my pressure. Again, my pressure is too light because I went to that 4x4. All right, so I'm at a 7. Back off a little bit more, but I should be good. Push this to the side. Place my transfer, which just fits on this platen perfectly. And then this is going to be a cold peel, so we're definitely going to let it cool, and it needs to cool. All right, lock it in place and let it count down. Medium pressure, 12 to 15 seconds. And again, we're going to let it totally get cold before we peel it.
Yeah, so while we're waiting for that to cool down, I'm going to talk to you about your profit on this jacket. So this OGO jacket, it is a little bit of a higher end ticket item. So it's going to be a $39.99 price point for the blank item. The transfer at the minimum order for Ultra Color Soft is going to be $2.50 for this size. And again, this size is a little bit bigger than we would normally use for a left chest, but we're doing it solely so that you guys can see it virtually, and it's not super tiny. So your total would be $42.49 without your overhead. This is going to retail from $65 to $75. So a larger ticket item with a beautiful finish on it. That's going to be a 35 to 43% margin, which is going to give you about a $23 profit for this jacket. And that, I mean, truthfully, if you think about how much opportunity there is here in outerwear, like I said in the beginning, I could talk about this for probably a day. So it's a lot of information to cram in, but this is a huge profit opportunity when it comes to outerwear.
All right, let's see. We'll get it cold enough. With the Ultra Color, yeah, look at that. Nice and cold, nice and peel. Again, garbage, but now you can see, I think the placement's okay, but I think it's a little crooked. You can see we got a nice full color left chest application. Like Rachel said, it's a little bigger, but it's definitely, so you can see it and visually get the feel for it, but a nice full color.
Yeah, Ultra Color Soft is a beautiful project. It allows you to get a lot of shadow and gradients in your design too, and not have to alter any of your logo and really add some cool effects to it. So before we get to questions, great job, Allison, for doing 4 left chests with no supervision. Thank you. Stacey, do we have any questions? I know we're cutting it close to 3 o'clock and I want people to get to the knits with Andy and Jason.
Yep, we do have some good questions coming through with the leather patches. The first one is can you wash a garment with a leather patch on it, or is it better to dry clean?
No dry cleaning. I wouldn't recommend dry cleaning at all with any products. It's just a really good thing to just stay away from. And if you don't include laundering instructions to your customers, you should, and one of them should be no dry cleaning. That's just, they use chemicals. But as far as leather patches go, you can launder them. They will adhere and you won't have any problems with the adherence, but you will have some warping and some misshaping. And it would be no different, like Rachel said, if you threw your leather coat in the wash. When it comes out, water's going to warp it and wear it. So we wouldn't recommend high washability. A couple here and there. Outerwear doesn't get washed a lot. Bags don't typically get washed a lot. Items like that is what you really want to focus the leather on. I wouldn't put it on a shirt that's going to be worn, every day or once a week even. So something, that's a little bit more, you can wash it, it'll turn out fine, but over age, it's just going to warp.
Perfect, thank you. And then the next 2 questions kind of go hand in hand. So it's like a 2-parter. A lot of people are wondering, is there a way to do leather patches without top and bottom heat application? Can you also apply leather patches if they don't own the 360 hat press?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So on our website, we offer variety of different applications for all of our dimensional emblems. And so you can do leather without bottom heat. You're going to use the regular heat application or the standard that's listed on there. It's a temperature of 365 degrees. You're going to really need to preheat your bottom pad. So you want to preheat your bottom pad, I would say 30 seconds twice. So, because what you want to do is you're going to heat up this bottom platen on a standard Hottronics machine. This silicone rubber will hold heat. So we want to drive it and get that nice and hot, because again, we still want that adhesive to drive toward that. So do a really, really good preheat for the first one on the bottom, and then 365, I think it's 20 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds with a cover sheet. If you just have top heat, you can. Same thing for putting it on a cap. You're just going to need to be cautious, because if you're getting into some of those heat sensitive fabrics, like 100% polyester, tri-blends, things like that, you may get scorching at 365 degrees. If that's the case and you don't have lower heat, I would recommend that you use the faux method, which is a little bit more labor, because what it involves is potentially taping the transfer onto the garment. So using thermotape to tape the transfer onto the garment, and then literally turning your garment inside out. And so you're gonna heat apply it from the inside out using the top platen. So set the top platen at 320, which is what we have the bottom platen set for. Turn it inside out and heat it that way. So, if you're gonna do a lot of leather patches, I wouldn't recommend that. But if you need to do one job or, a small run, you should be able to do that as well. That is preferred over using that 365 and driving it down. There is a video on the dimensional page that shows that faux method where I actually did it, and I turned it inside out and heated it from the bottom and then pulled it away. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say.
Yeah, there's many workarounds with those products.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, we do recommend lower heat. So if you can get that functionality in your facility, or if you do have it, we really do recommend it.
Yeah, you're going to want it anyway, but there are workarounds again.
Got anything else?
Perfect. Nope, that was it. I think we got all the questions answered up to this point. And I do remember that video you did, Allison. After you said that, I totally forgot about it. But yeah, that's a good resource.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So we didn't get to jump into like pillows and platens and stuff, but there are some phenomenal courses on here, and like everything that we have done so far and that we're continuing to do is recorded. So if you're interested in any of that, it's going to be covered in any of your heat press 101s or what heat press to use, and they're going to talk about accessories. So jump in there and maybe you can get a better idea if you're uncertain of platens or pillows or what to use when. Or feel free to jump into our inboxes and set up a private meeting, or if you just have some questions, we are more than happy to help you. But other than that, I hope we helped you guys either realize some potential that you have or some different creative options for outerwear. And we were so happy to be here with you today. And if you're getting over to Andy and Jason's, it's going to be a good one. Your polos and knits, that's at 3 o'clock. So we'll see you guys soon.